Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susie Roberts, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I am speaking here to you on behalf of Employee, Family, and Resources. I'm very excited to be here today for our 30-minute webinar on what's for lunch and how to make fun, fast, and healthy meals or snacks as easy as 1, 2, 3. Our objectives today, we want to discuss how to make healthy lunch choices for your kids getting ready to go back to school, or for yourself. Maybe you're getting ready to go back to work. But I also would like to have people gain an understanding on how kids learn and grow by watching and essentially imitating what we adults do around them. The bottom line is that better health equates to better learning for your students, but even for yourself, whether you're an employee or maybe you are working and going to school part-time, or even if you're an adult school learner. So setting the nutritional stage, my goal is to help us think through how we can establish a mentality and a meal pattern that embraces more of a balanced nutritional approach to food. Yes, there are the macronutrients of carbohydrates, protein, and fats, but already that can be a little overwhelming to people. And then when we throw in the whole micronutrient aspect of vitamins and minerals, it can get very confusing. But at the end of the day, if there's the top tip that I could make for you and your family, it is simply this. With every meal or snack that you have, make sure you have a fruit and or a vegetable in it. So that's it. That's just a foundational tip. And if you do those things, as being a parent, and show that and model that for your family, that will go a long way towards helping you to build a good foundation for nutrition. So how can we sway individuals to make those healthy choices? Again, we want to make sure that we ourselves are modeling healthy behaviors, but it's really key to understand that kids imitate exactly what they see, hear, what they see you do, as well as the reactions and feelings that they observe around them. So for example, if you're trying a new dish that you're making for dinner, and if you make a face like, ooh, that's really sour, or that doesn't taste good, your kids will pick up on that. But so something just to kind of keep in mind. And we do have a video called Children See, Children Do. It's just a minute long. However, we're not able to make that work in this webinar, but we will have this link put in the chat so that you would have the option to view that at a later time. So tip number 1 on how to make fun, fast, healthy lunches as easy as 1, 2, 3. The first thing I recommend is that you get your family members involved. And I would recommend starting right at the point of where you're shopping for your groceries. It could be at the local grocery store, Target, Walmart, even farmers markets are really a great place to take your kids and show them different options as far as the different vegetables and fruits that are available. And even at the grocery store, letting them look at the different bins and the different cases where there's the different foods. Wonderful opportunity to teach kids about the basics of healthy nutritional items. And then to try and help allow that your child, when they pick something, to then go and build a meal around that when you get home. It's also, I just wanted to point out, I know that a lot of people do online grocery shopping. That's even a great place to have your kids shop online with you as well as they pick and choose various foods for their lunches or their snacks too. And this will help give those students the knowledge and the skills and ultimately the confidence to make healthy eating choices. Because the bottom line is that we're not always going to be there for our kids, telling them what to do or modeling what to do. They're going to be out on their own sometime. And the more that you have ingrained in them about those simple options of having a fruit and or a vegetable at each meal or snack, it's going to pay off when they leave the nest, go on to college, or even go start their own families. The other thing that's really kind of interesting is that, you know, with all of the reality shows that are up and running these days, there's also several that are featuring kids and cooking, such as the Top Chef Kids show. So really, cooking is becoming more of a cool activity to do. So that might even be a way to get your kids interested in cooking or baking by having you guys watch a show together. All right, so tip number 2 is to have some tools that are appropriate for yourself as the adults or your kids, depending on their ages. There is a great website that I found. It's called produceforkids.com. And there they showcased all sorts of cool lunch boxes. And so when you provide tools to help make your lunches at home, this is really a great way to ensure that your kids are eating healthy at school. You're really increasing the chance of kids making those healthier options. And so, for example, with these lunch boxes, I myself ended up purchasing the one in the lower left-hand corner. These are bento boxes. I just got them from Amazon. And what I love about it is it's simple, 3 little containers, one for my main meal, and then 2 smaller ones where I've actually got a vegetable and I've got some cherries in that as well. So the other thing to keep in mind with lunch boxes is, do you need one that has the ability to keep foods cold or warm, you know, depending on where your child may be able to store their lunchbox before lunch. Also, you want to make sure that it's age appropriate so that the child is able to get into the lunchbox or take the lids off or put them back on. So there's a lot of options out there too. So the second tip, and I love this, this is, man, just had to reach down and get these. I also purchased, and this was from Amazon, this is called Fun Udders. And in this, there are several of the items that you see on your screen. And I was so excited to find them. They're just very, very simple. But in this Fun Nutters Pro box, there are these fun little vegetable or fruit cutters. They come in the shapes of stars, hearts, even little fish, etc. So those are really cool. The other thing that they have is, and I'm pointing to the screen on this, is these sandwich cutters. I know that sometimes kids don't like the crust of bread. So for example, in this Fun Udders little accessory package, there are these fun sandwich shapes. So for example, I've got some trains here. Here is a very cute little butterfly. Again, just fun, easy ways to help get your kids involved in A, making their lunch, but then B, eating it as well. The other thing, and you can see it a little bit on your screen there, is these little, these would be kind of like for your toddlers. These are little forks or very small utensils, and they can easily be used to, you know, spear a strawberry or even a blueberry, etc. So this next slide is showing a picture of my niece. This is my niece who is 2.5 years old. Her name is Shio. She came to visit me literally just a couple of weeks ago. And she's already a really good eater. And I used another little fun new tool. If you can see on the table there, I've got these little, it looks like a cupcake liner, but it's just a little kind of rubbery container. And Shio was quite enthralled, as you can see here, where we were busy putting strawberries in one, we got blueberries in another, and then you can't quite see it on the right-hand side here, but I also had some cut up broccoli and cauliflower. Yes, a 2.5-year-old likes broccoli and cauliflower. And I give a big shout out and credit to my niece because they are exposing her to interesting foods early, healthy foods early. And it's really something that she's really developing some excellent habits. So tip number 3 is to come up with fun and easy lunch recipes. Those that can be both adult and or kid friendly as needed, but some examples, and I've put down here, included in the presentation for you, a link to the healthyfamilyproject.com. Oh my gosh, they had so many fun options. And some examples were salad with a twist or pinwheel combos. And I'm going to show you some of the pinwheel combos in just a second here. But I also want to just put in a little nutritional word here for brain health. Obviously, for our kids, their brains are developing and they develop the most in those younger years, those formative years. But did you know that brain health is also important to we adults too? Brain health is important, especially when we look towards aging. If we kind of sharpen up and make some changes in our nutritional intake now and include items that are what we call brain friendly, and that includes items like eggs and Greek yogurt, tuna, salmon, nuts and seeds, oatmeal. Blueberries is one of the best brain healthy foods that you can eat. Also, beans are very good. And I mean any kind of bean, unfortunately, except for like Van Camp's pork and beans, only because they have a lot of additional barbecue sauce and sugar. But any other kind of beans, whether it be pinto, chickpeas, kidney beans, black eyed peas, all sorts of beans are excellent for your brain health. And one of the reasons that that is important is when our brain is well nourished and up and running, we can think better, we can learn better, and if for those of us on the job, we can perform better. So again, this would be a great website for you to check out here for some of these lunch ideas that I'll go through next, the healthyfamilyproject.com. So the pinwheel combos for lunch. So they're really simple. I start with a simple tortilla, and I happen to bring the kind that I enjoy. I like flat outs. I have found them at Walmart, at Hy-Vee, at Fairway, and I happen to like the one that's called Protein Up. And this is where, for a very good size tortilla, it's only 110 calories. It has 10 grams of protein, but another big advantage of it is it has 8 grams of fiber. Fiber and protein are definitely our nutritional friends. They help us to feel fuller longer so that we can concentrate better on whatever our day consists of, whether it be schoolwork or work. All right, so with the pinwheels, the way that they end up is you just simply put your flat out on your plate and make that. And then for my lunch, this will actually be for tomorrow. and I've actually got it in my bento box, my bento lunch box here. I ended up adding just a very simple turkey and cheese and spinach. And then I simply rolled it up and cut it into slices. Now think how easy this would be for your kids. With these tortillas or flat outs, you can put anything that you want in there. You could put peanut butter and jelly into a flat out and roll it up and then slice it for some additional pinwheel options. You can do other things like bacon, lettuce, and tomato. You can do ham, cheese, and spinach. You can do just a whole wide variety of fillings that you or your family member like. So I'm also providing for you, and you'll see that these are, they are included in the webinar here as handouts. What I like about this one, it's called Build Your Own Healthy Lunchbox, and it is designed to help the average person very easily make a well-balanced meal by picking one item from each of the boxes there. So right off the top, or right off the bat, a person will have a whole grain and a protein by picking an item there in the kind of brownish box. Then go to the fruit and pick something that you like out of there. And then vegetables, lots of options for vegetables. And then in our other category, there can be other things added in there like string cheese or yogurt or nuts, pretzels, milk, etc. But picking one item from each of the 4 boxes is a great way for you or for your youngster to learn how to build a healthy lunch. Also included in your handout is kind of like a from scratch type of build your own lunch tool. And this is where, you know, with your child, you could list on the left-hand side here the different options that are there for entrees, whether it be, you know, turkey or ham, spinach or other lettuces, or other items that you might like in your sandwich. And then you could let your child pick what they wanted to make for lunch each day of the week. And again, this could even work for you, the adult as well. What I love about this, this slide here is building your own trail mix. As a registered dietitian, I can tell you that a lot of trail mixes have a lot of added things that you probably don't really want to have there. You also may not realize that they're there. And I'm talking about sometimes granolas and nuts are cooked or made with oils with very high saturated fats, such as palm oil or kernel oil. If you make your own trail mix, you really can control all the ingredients. You can control any extra sodium. You can also control and really reduce the amount of added sugars that would be in your own trail mix. And so this is also something I turned into a handout for you, where it's designed to help you pick section by section of the jar figure, and you can check mark things that you want to use or incorporate into your own trail mix. And so including 2 or 3 of the various food items on the jar there is a great way to make healthy snacks for yourself or for your kids to make for themselves too. Now, I also recommend that you aim for a snack to be between 100 to 250 calories based on the age and size of the snacker, of course. But I also want to mention that portion control is really key when it comes to snacking. And, you know, sometimes if people tend to eat out of a bag of potato chips, for example, or if you eat out of the bag of almonds or walnuts, it is really easy to unconsciously eat a lot more than maybe you thought you were, or maybe even more than you were really hungry for. And this is where having more small containers, again, setting yourself up for success. This little container here is literally a half a cup size. It's perfect for nuts and seeds, you know, maybe even adding in a few dark chocolate chips, for example. But this is right here is a simple way to build in portion control. I was just visiting with a client this morning. She was someone who was wanting to kind of change some nutritional habits, and she knew that snacking was a challenge for her. So I actually shared with her and showed her a simple way that she could set herself up for success by, again, pre-portioning out ahead of time. Even for those of us who, you know, we work long days, and then if we have a long drive, if you know you're going to be hungry on that way home from work, or if you know that your child is going to be hungry on the way home from school, you know, having a little extra snack in your car or in their backpack is really, you know, a healthy way to make sure they're getting something to keep them fueled, so they're not coming home starving and maybe then making not as healthy choices. But again, just some tips to think about how you can set yourself or your family up for nutritional success. So I briefly mentioned that after school snack or after work time when we get home and we're just trying to kind of unwind from the day and before you jump into your evening activities. On the healthyfamilyproject.com website, they have a plethora of wonderful after-school snacks. And what I liked is they had a whole list of them that just have 3 ingredients. And I know that when I'm thinking of, you know, I want something quick and easy, it needs to not have very many ingredients, and it needs to be simple to make. So a couple of ideas that I pulled out for you here was avocado toast. It isn't just for breakfast anymore. It's okay to have it for an after school or after work snack as well. But having 1 piece of whole wheat bread with about 1/4 of an avocado kind of sliced and then spread as butter with a hard-boiled egg, that is going to give you some healthy carbohydrates from the bread. You're going to get a fruit, because an avocado is a fruit and it has fiber in it. And avocado is loaded with healthy fats, in particular monounsaturated fats. That hard-boiled egg, it has 6 grams of protein, which is just beautiful to really help, you know, keep your energy up after your busy day. Another option that the Family Project had showcased was making a Greek or a yogurt parfait. And here I wanted just to mention, as a dietitian, when I talk with people about making those nutrition choices, I recommend that we think about things from a good, better, best perspective. So with that in mind, having yogurt is a good choice. Why? Because all yogurts have protein in them. Making a better choice might be to choose a yogurt that has minimal added sugars, or an even best choice might be to look for a Greek yogurt, one that has lower fat, but also less added sugars in it. Because to get that sweetness with some of these yogurts, you don't really need the added sugars. You can also capture that pretty easily with some fresh fruit or some crunchy granola. So those are some other options to think about. But again, feel free to check out this website. It's another great resource for you. I also wanted to just make a point here about the lunches that are served by public schools. I know that years ago, school lunches may have been thought of not being all that healthy, but in 2010, the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act was passed. And that is a law that requires school systems to really look at the nutritional value of the foods that they are providing your students for the breakfast and for the lunch as well, and even snacks. And so based on the grade or age of the child, there are actually a certain limit of calories based on their age, and then a little bit less for lunch or for breakfast versus lunch. But then school lunch programs are also tasked with the requirement of making sure that their meals have less than 10% of the calories coming from saturated fats. And then they also have to make sure that they are meeting the added sugar requirements, meaning being under 10% of total calories. And they're also to offer low-fat or fat-free milk, and they're also to be making available water as well. So for those parents that don't have the time, or it's just easier for life to have your child eat at the school, that's perfectly a very good option for you. And that's where I'll bring it back to how I started out the presentation and talking about, if you help to model that number one simple rule, which is to have a fruit and or vegetable at every meal or snack, if you've been ingraining that in your child, then when they're here at the school lunch line, they will be more apt to make a healthier choice. Because I also want you to realize, and I've seen this myself, to become a registered dietitian, we have a internship where part of that is to serve in the school lunch aspect of things. And that's where we learn all about the federal requirements. We learn about cooking for large numbers of students, etc. But I also learned that kids only have 20 to maybe 30 minutes to get themselves in the line, the lunch line, to select the foods that they want, get their plate, and then go and eat it. So there's just some time constraints as well. So the more healthy modeling you can do at home for your youngster, the better. So in kind of wrapping up here, coming towards the end, the keys to healthier eating habits are to practice making those balanced nutrition choices yourself. Remember, those little eyes and ears are watching and hearing most things that you do or say. And that's why it's so important to be a positive role model. And then to set yourself up for automatic success. That's where some of the pre-planning, doing a little bit of meal prepping, maybe on the weekend, just to help make those automatic choices easier for you during your busier time of the work week or school week. So I'd like to thank you all for your time today and your commitment to nutrition for yourself and your family. This is my contact information. As I mentioned, I am a registered and licensed dietitian. Here's my phone number and email address. And it's truly my passion is nutrition. And so I'm just very passionate about helping people learn more about it. At this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Johanna Dunlevy from EFR.
Thank you, Susie, and thanks everyone for joining today. Great topic. As the mother of a 4.5-year-old, I can relate to a lot of the things you said. Currently, my daughter's favorite thing to help with in the kitchen is making fruit salads, and so that just means we take apples and bananas and berries and peaches and whatever is in season, and we just kind of cut them all up and put them in a bowl, and she thinks it's really fun. And I think that when you mingle the flavors of different fruits, it actually enhances the flavor of all of the fruits. So it's a win-win for us. But I just want to remind you that we do have a podcast called Emotional, and Susie has been featured on it twice. She was I think our very first guest in season 1, and then she was also in season 2. So if you go to efr.org, the menus at the top, stay connected, find our podcast. You can find Susie's episodes there. And then if you want to advance one slide, Susie, we do have benefits available through your EAP. And so if you are joining us and you know that you have EFR's EAP benefit, please keep in mind that you have access to a variety of resources, you and your family members. So these are confidential resources to help you, what we say, manage life's challenges. So it could be that you have anxiety or depression, or just you're not feeling quite like yourself lately. Please call our 800 number. We do have 24/7, 365 phone support, and we can connect you with a counselor if you would like to speak with someone in more detail about what's going on. We also offer a lot of telephonic services like life coaching, elder care resources, financial consultation, legal consultation. So these are great if you just have questions, or if you need to do something, or if you have something in your life that's adding stress because you don't know how to address it. Please give us a call. It's highly likely that one of our benefits can help you. If anyone has questions, please use the chat. I did put in the chat the link to the video that we were unable to play. And then there's also a couple of handouts attached. Susie has 2 handouts, the one on building a healthy lunch and snacks, and then the one on the pinwheel and choose your lunch fillable. So make sure to grab those, download them from the presentation before we log off today. But any questions? I did want to make one comment as we're waiting for questions if we have any. So with the trail mix, I agree, you do have to be really careful. You always assume that nuts are a great healthy choice, yes, but depending on what store you buy them from, there is a lot of added oil, or there can be.
Yes.
And so you do have to be a real savvy shopper. But then I also think about trail mix, and like the intent is that it's trail mix, right? So the name is derived from, you're on a trail, you're hiking, you're doing some kind of physical work that requires you to have a lot of calories in a convenient way. And so occasionally I find myself snacking on trail mix, at my office, and I think like, this is just a lot of calories for me sitting at my desk. So.
Yes, it's all about balance and, making sure that there's movement throughout your day as well.
All right, well, it doesn't look like there are any questions, Susie, so thank you again for your time today. We will upload the recording of this to our website, efr.org. Again, under Stay Connected, you can find upcoming webinars, past webinars, our podcast, and our blog. Make it a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Johanna.